Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Lindsay and this is the Momlogs. So if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I am on Weight Watchers, or WW as it's now called. I have lost a total of 75 pounds, and normally I film like cook with me videos, what I eat in a day videos, just like mom life stuff sometimes. And I thought that it would be fun today to switch it up a little bit and film a Q&A video. So I got on my Instagram and I made a community post on YouTube asking for your questions. I have them all written down here, nice and neat, so that I can get to all of these questions that were asked. Some of them are WW specific and others are just about my life in general and having young kids. I have two little boys. They are 2 and 4, Jack and Ben, and you know, that comes with some baggage sometimes. I'm gonna go ahead and start out with the WW or Weight Watchers questions, and then I will get into the questions that are more about my life. The first question is, what is my favorite WW specific recipe? I think that the Skinny-ish Dish website, which is ran by Star, she has, in my personal opinion, some of the best recipes, and she always does a calorie breakdown along with all 3 plans on every single recipe on her website. And I think the two of my favorite recipes off of there, I can't narrow it down to just one because I love them both so much. The first one is her skillet pickled chicken. If you have never made it or tried pickled chicken before, it's so good. And hers specifically has like a little bit of a light breading on it. It's so good. And then the other one is, of course, everyone makes it, the crock pot marinara, which is just basically using like canned tomatoes and other stuff to make this really delicious sauce that's good with pasta, spaghetti squash. You can put it on your 2-ingredient dough pizza and it's 0 points no matter how much you eat. My next question is, what is my favorite like overall food, WW or non, is the way that I took this question. And that has got to be nachos. I love nachos. And if I ever had like a meal where I'm like treating myself, that is it, like hands down. The bummer about that is a lot of the restaurants are closed and we haven't really been going, well, I haven't been out to eat at all. So, and nachos are just not good to go because the chips get all soggy. So I have resorted to making them at home. So like everything, like cheese, like freshly shredded cheese is the best, like full fat. I really love like a ground meat substitute, like Morningstar crumbles with taco seasoning. I'm getting hungry. Tomatoes and salsa and taco sauce and sour cream, all that deliciousness. That is like hands down my favorite food in the world, nachos. The next question is, what is my favorite WW plan? So I lost majority of my weight when it was just Weight Watchers Freestyle. And when they implemented the 3 different plans, I did for a brief time, maybe like 6 weeks or so, I tried out purple. I think it was just like eating so many carbs. I don't really know what it was, or maybe it was like the influx of fiber. I don't know, but my stomach, purple did not agree with my tummy. So I ended up switching back to blue, and I say back to because blue is Freestyle. So I'm on blue. It's like my comfort zone, I guess you could say. I'm in a groove with it, and I'm just super comfortable with it. The next question is, how much weight have you lost? And along with that, how long did it take you? This is a little bit of a loaded question because I got to goal and then I gained about 15 pounds back and then I re-lost that. At this point, I have a new goal weight. If you asked me today, I will say that I have lost 75 pounds. My starting weight was 241, and right now I'm sitting anywhere between like 162 and 165. 165 is my new goal weight. My old goal weight was 155. And at one point, which would have been late summer of 2019, I actually weighed 154 pounds. That was great and fine, and I felt really good, but that weight wasn't sustainable for me. And I couldn't hold my weight at 154. It wasn't feasible. Especially if I wanted to put on any sort of muscle mass. I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but until I got to maybe like 15 to 20 pounds of my original goal weight, I didn't really like actively exercise. It was just strictly focusing on the diet and the foods that I was putting into my body and making that switch first. I think that it was just a little bit overwhelming to me. Just because of other things that I had going on in my life. Like we moved, sold and bought a house. I had 2 kids who were even smaller than they are now. So to mix that in, it was just overwhelming to me. And like learning the Weight Watchers program, and just, you know, it was going through the motions of too many different things, and it was overwhelming to me. So I didn't work out a whole lot. So then when I started working out, I started putting on muscle mass, and that added to it. That added to my body weight, plus the fact that like Halloween rolled around, both my kids trick-or-treated and I ate their candy, and then the holidays came, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and I just slowly worked myself up to about, I don't know, it was like maybe like not very much more than I weigh now, like 167. And then I just kind of like sat there. So like at my lowest, 80-ish pounds I lost. And how long did it take? My original weight loss, so from 241 to 154, it took me about, I would say between 12 and 14 months to lose that amount of weight. I don't think that that's like, I don't know, that might seem like really fast, and I hesitate to even say how long it took me because I don't want anyone to compare their journey with mine, because our bodies are all different. So that's just how long it took me. The next question is, how do I stay motivated for the long haul? I've seen this like floating around everywhere lately on social media. I know it's like, it's really hard to hear. Sometimes it's like not what you want to hear, but it's like a little bit tough love at the same time. And the truth of the matter is that you're not always going to be motivated, but you have to have like the determination and the dedication to your body. So the way that I stay determined is remembering back to how miserable I was when I was at my highest weight, when I was postpartum with my second son. Like I said, it was 241. I don't ever want to go back there. I had postpartum hypertension, and although they say that they don't know what causes that, I was overweight. I couldn't keep up with my kids. It was hard to like even get up off the couch. I was miserable. Like when you don't feel good about the way that your body looks on the outside, then you're not going to feel good on the inside. And that's honestly how I stay motivated. Another way that I stay motivated is, or determined or like dedicated to myself, is to take foods that you used to eat and like make healthier versions of them, or lower point versions of them. Find foods that you liked before that you can like again in a healthier way. And then it starts to become not so much of a diet, it becomes more of a lifestyle, because you can't just think of this as like the diet phase and the weight loss phase and then you're done. It's the diet phase and the weight loss phase, and then there's no going back to the way that it used to be. It is just a continuation. The only difference over here is that you're maintaining. So your weight isn't always going to be going down. It's going to have ebbs and flows, and you might gain a pound, but then the next week you might lose that same pound, if that makes any sense. So I just have made this my lifestyle. I work out because it's might not always be what I want to do, but I know that when I'm done with my workout, I'm not going to regret it. And I just do it because it is what I do. I make dinner 6 nights a week because it is what I do. Or I very rarely just say, like I used to, like, oh, it's 4:45, I have no idea what we're gonna eat for dinner, let's just go to McDonald's. That very rarely happens because I have a plan, and in my head, I know that that's the plan. I just do it. That's the only way that I can think of that I can stay motivated and determined, is to plan, prepare, think of this as a lifestyle, and not like get out of that diet mentality. And it just is what it is. This is my new life, and this isn't the way that it used to be. And it's really hard to get started and to make new routines and to make new habits. But every day I wake up, I pick my dinner. That way I know what I'm having. At the beginning of the week, I make a list of everything that I'm gonna be eating for breakfast, lunches, and dinners. I know what workouts I'm doing. I have my workout programs. So there is no like, oh, at the last minute, like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do for my workout. Oh, screw it, I'll just work out tomorrow. That's just not the way it is. I hope that helps. Just make it your life. The next question is, what were my mini goals leading up to Lifetime? I think that it's like really fun to look back at like the weight tracker in the WW app and see yourself like on the graph that they give you, like see your weight going down, 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 like trending down. I can't remember a time when I was losing where I ever had like a mini goal. I always just like had 155 in my app. That was my goal weight, and that was the number that I was always working towards. But along the same line, she also asked, what were some of your non-scale victories? If you're unfamiliar with what a non-scale victory is, it's basically just as it sounds. It's anything that any way that you can tell that you've lost weight that doesn't have anything to do with the number on the scale. So I feel like these two questions kind of go hand in hand, because a lot of my mini goals were my non-scale victories, and a lot of those were centered around like clothes. Like, oh, I think if I lose another 10 pounds, I can probably fit into like a smaller size jeans. Not to say that I think that the size of my jeans defines me, but it's exciting to see and feel your clothes getting looser, because you know that what you're doing and all of the hard work that you're putting into this new lifestyle is actually working. So I think that that was one of my favorite non-scale victories, was getting to buy new clothes and like not having to shop in the plus size section at stores, and like being limited to those clothes, and just being able to shop at any store that I wanted to like walk into and purchase clothes from. Another one of my favorite things was like actually wanting to be in pictures. Before, in pictures, I was kind of like always hiding behind one of my kids. Or like I would use my husband to like block half of my body in pictures, or I would just say like, no, I don't want to be in this picture at all. Or like I would see myself in the background of pictures and just be like disgusted with myself. And now like I film YouTube videos, I would have never done that before, and huge non-scale victory for me. I love the way that I look, and I'm so happy, and I'm so much more comfortable in my own skin. So that is another huge NSV for me. The next question is, what are your trigger foods and how do you work them into your plan? I think that like some of my biggest weaknesses are like definitely sweets, like cakes, like Little Debbie's, like ice cream, like I'm not talking like Halo Top, like full sugar, full fat ice cream. Just anything like sweet like that. Mostly like cakes and ice cream though. And the way that I work them into my plan is to look up, like I'm no chef, I'm not like a baker or anything. I just get on my computer or on my phone and I just look up recipes. You can get on WW Pound Dropper and look up one of Lindsay's recipes, and she makes like the most delicious cookies and cakes, and you can just find anything online. So if you can take something that you really like and make it more like calorie friendly or point friendly. You can make anything that will fit into your plan. It's going to take a little bit longer. It's not going to be as fast as going to the gas station and grabbing, you know, a pack of ho-hos or snowballs or ding-dongs or whatever you want. But it's, if you really want to work that kind of thing into your plan and it's just not working with your weeklies or like with your extra points or whatever plan you're working, or your calorie cycling or whatever, you can find a way to make it fit, is basically what I'm saying. With that being said, I'm not afraid to use my weeklies. I don't think that using your weeklies every week is going to make you gain weight. You might see like a little increase on the scale, but in the long run, you're not going to deprive yourself of things like that for the rest of your life. And I've always preached this my whole journey. Like the other day I went out to get ice cream with my kids and my mother-in-law, and I just got ice cream, and I just don't worry about stuff like that anymore, because the memories and making memories with my kids and laughing and enjoying my ice cream to its fullest without having any feelings of guilt, that's what matters. If you're gonna go your whole weight loss journey without indulging at all, I think that you're gonna have a really hard time when you come off of weight loss mode and go into maintenance, and it could like end up to be a free-for-all. Like, oh, I've spent all this time dieting, give me all these cakes, give me all the ice cream, give me chips and this and that and donuts and whatnot. And you just don't want it to turn to that. So if you allow yourself little indulgences here and there, you're not going to feel deprived and like you're missing out on anything. The next question is, do I find it harder to stay on track during summer? And more specifically, like, is it just this summer or is it because of the pandemic? I personally think that it's super easy to stay on track during the summer. A lot of times there's like more going on, so sometimes it's a little bit harder to work. You know, like if you're working on like house projects or like working outside and stuff, sometimes it's a little bit easier for the day to get away from you and to go off track in that way, for me at least. My hardest time to stay on track is what happened to me last year, is between Halloween and like New Year's. And that is when I completely sabotaged myself. So I just need to like set up my like mental game this year and like don't eat so much Halloween candy, Lindsay. Maybe you shouldn't make every single Christmas cookie recipe that you can possibly find and eat them all. Like, I need to be a little bit more balanced. But to answer the question, no, I don't think it's harder for me to stay on track during the summer months. It's the winter time is definitely harder for me. Plus during the summertime, like you're wearing shorts and bathing suits and you want to look good and you're showing more skin in the summer. So I think that that's a little bit more motivating for me too. Whereas like in the fall and winter and spring, you're like covered up with layers, so nobody can really see what's going on underneath there. So yeah, it's definitely harder for me to stay motivated when you're having all of these things, when I have all these things thrown in my face, like, you know, Halloween candy. What is one food that I can't live without? I thought about this question when I saw it, and I feel like I need to preface it with the fact that Miranda from Running on Plants asked me this. She is plant-based vegan, so I'm gonna just say it. Miranda, I'm sorry, but it is chicken. I think that it is like the best 0-point food. You can do practically anything with it. You can put it on pizza, you can put it on in your tacos, you can like just have a grilled chicken breast, you can make your skillet pickled chicken, you can do anything with it. It's so versatile and so good, and I always have chicken in my house. It's delish. Okay, weekends, alcohol, and how do I manage those things? So I am going to say this, and you can take it with a grain of salt, because everyone is different, everyone's minds work different. But I went my whole journey of weight loss eating all of my weeklies on Saturdays. And I didn't always track them. That's just what I did. And And it really made me feel like for those other 6 days that I was not deprived. If you don't think that that would work for you, like if you don't think that you would be able to go Saturday eating all of your weeklies and maybe or maybe not tracking those weeklies and getting back on the wagon on Sunday, just going back to complete normal, then don't do it. Don't do it. You can eat your weeklies, but you need to track them. If you feel like you might need your weeklies here and there throughout the week, then work it that way. That's what's great about WW is that you can work it any way you want. With that being said, I still have my most indulgent day on Saturday. So if there was a meal that I've been wanting, like if I have been like dying for like pizza, like takeout pizza, like delivery, then I'll have the pizza on Saturday and I will just continue with my life as it was on Sunday. Same with alcohol. I used to drink alcohol a lot more before I started Weight Watchers. Now it's Saturdays and once in a while on Fridays, but I weigh on Saturdays, at least I did before the pandemic. So it was really hard for me to work alcohol into my Friday night and, you know, still be, you know, losing weight. Alcohol makes me gain weight so easily, and I feel like that's part of the reason why it's so easy for me to abstain, is because I can just like watch the scale go up with the more that I consume alcohol. My tips for you are to maybe have like a set day of the week where you can drink, like at home. If you have something social going on throughout the week and you know that there's going to be alcohol there, maybe make that your night for that week specifically. You can bring your own beverages to wherever you are. Find like a low calorie or low point beverage that you like Truly's are 4 points. I don't really know how much liquor is point wise. I know vodka's really low. You could do like a vodka soda with like a squirt of Mio if you do have like artificial sweeteners, or you could just do like a flavored vodka with soda and lime. Like I really like blueberry vodka with soda and like a squirt of lime juice. You could do like a Moscow Mule with vodka, diet ginger beer and lime. There's like a ton of low point ways, but as like low point drinks, but as far as like what specifically to do about managing your alcohol intake, I think that sometimes we just need like a little bit of a reset and treat it just like you would treat food. Like if you're having it during the week, I would track it, and it will make you think less. It will make you think more about like how much alcohol you're drinking, because it does have calories, and sometimes I would rather have a snack than have a drink. I hope that helps. I know it's like really hard, especially during these times when like you just like want to have a drink because you're stressed out, but you gotta like really think about the points that are coming from that alcohol are going to affect your week, and is it worth it to sabotage your progress for alcohol? And how are you going to feel the next day? Because the older I get, the worse the day after. The worse the day after is, if you know what I mean. The last WW question is, how tall are you? Because you looked so thin before like losing your 75 pounds. Thank you. I can put some pictures up of a time when I didn't feel thin at all, but I have always been told that I carry my weight well. And I think that is because I am on the taller side. I am 5'9", and I think my healthy weight range on the WW, like their BMI chart or whatever it is, I think I can go up to like either 167 or 169. So everyone carries their weight different, but yeah, like I said, I didn't feel in any way, shape, or form thin when I started my journey, but thank you. I really appreciate that a lot. All right, moving on to the non-WW questions. The first one is, what did I want to be when I grew up? I think that like from like maybe like middle school age until I started in my concentration in college, I wanted to be a teacher, and I was actually in school to be a high school history teacher. And then I started orienting with teachers and shadowing teachers and stuff, and just like hearing about their struggles and what they put up with every day, I just decided that it wasn't the path that I wanted to take. I commend teachers. I think they are some of the hardest workers out there, especially this year going back to school. I can't even imagine being in that situation. It sounds horrible, and like, I'm glad that I didn't do it. I decided to graduate with just my degree in history, and then out of college I got a job doing payroll. I have had a wide variety of jobs. I worked fast food, I have a license in mixology, and I bartended for a long time in both like a restaurant setting and fine dining, wine room. I have been a flight attendant before, working for an airline that's no longer in business. That was fun while it lasted. And then my last job that I didn't go back to after I had my son was doing payroll. The next question is, how do I deal with toddler transitions, such as losing the pacifier and like transitioning from a crib to a bed specifically? I am by no means an expert at like toddler psychology. They are very difficult to deal with sometimes, as is a child at any age, I feel. My mom has always told me, little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems. I think that there's like so many resources online, but one, Instagram specifically, that has helped me so much is this Instagram that's called Big Little Feelings. I'll put it on the screen here for you so that you can get on the app and look them up, because they are phenomenal. One is a mom, and I know that she wears another hat, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. And then the other one is a child psychologist, I believe. And they have teamed up to make this Instagram page, and they deal with everything from picky eaters to transitions to bedtime, anything that you could imagine. And I know that they're super responsive if you ever have like a specific question. That being said, the way that we dealt with those two things, it's going to be different for every child. My older son, Jack, is extremely strong-willed, the most strong-willed person I've ever met in my life. He's super stubborn. He just kind of like marches to the beat of his own drum, and I think he sees himself as equal to my husband and I, so every day is a power struggle. I don't like to show that kind of stuff because who wants to watch the drama in my house unfold? But just in general, I think that it's really important to make toddlers feel like they're in charge. So if you can find a way to spin it to make them think that they're in charge of, you know, staying in bed or getting rid of their pacifier, I think that is like the key to getting through toddlerhood, is making them think that they're in charge. And another thing that I'll say is that toddlers thrive on routine. Establishing a good, strong routine for like every stage of the day is so important. Along the same lines of toddlers, how do you get your kids to eat what you're eating? This is coming from that same Instagram page because they talk about it so much. But like not making a big deal when you put new foods down in front of your kids. So anytime that you expose your child to a new food, serve it with a safe food. So say you're serving them salad, also serve them some cut up cheese or another food that's comfortable for them, like a safe food, they always refer to it as. So if I ever want my kids to eat, like if I ever want them to try spaghetti squash, I always serve the spaghetti squash with some like ravioli or pasta, like a fun pasta shape that I know that they'll eat. That way they have a new food and a safe food. You just set it down in front of them. You don't say anything about like, oh, this is a new food. This is what mom and dad are going to eat. You should try it. Don't pressure them. Don't say anything about like, oh, mommy and daddy are eating it and it's so good, yum 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 yum. You just put it down in front of them. If they eat it, fine. If they don't eat it, then they don't eat it. I think it's the best way to expose them to new foods, and that's really what it comes down to, is food exposure. I got a question, not really even like a question, but just a statement asked, like saying that she loves wedding details and to share anything that I wanted to share about our wedding. Rob and I got married July 21st of 2012, and we had dated for like between 2 and 3 years by the time we got married. We got married in our church at the time, and then we had between like 80 and 100 people at our reception. It was like the perfect day. The only thing that went wrong was when we were on our way back from the location that we shot our pictures at, between our ceremony and our reception, our limo broke down. But it was like never to the point where it like felt stressful. Like we were all just like laughing and we thought that it was funny, and then they brought another limo and they came and picked us up where we were. But it was such a good day. It was so much fun. I think like highlights for me were taking beautiful pictures that we can look back at. I love our wedding pictures. We have a beautiful wedding album. The colors, the bridesmaids wore black, and then the groomsmen wore black tuxes with like fuchsia vests, fuchsia ties, and our cake was beautiful. It was like in like a hexagon shape. And I also loved just like the memory of everyone out on the dance floor dancing. We had a DJ. It was just such a good day. But yeah, I love looking back at our pictures from that day because I do love them so much. And I was blonde. I like worked so hard to get my hair highlighted enough to be blonde at my wedding, so that's fun to see. The last question that I have is, what are the meaning of my earrings? I'm sure if you've watched my videos before, you notice I always wear these. I never even take these suckers out. They're like always in, even when I'm sleeping. They don't bother me at all. I forget that I even have them in sometimes, but they are trees of life. I can show you up close what they look like. There's a few different meanings of the tree of life, but I just got online because I wanted to like give like an accurate meaning for them. The two that mean the most to me are the tree of life symbol represents our personal development, uniqueness, and individual beauty. Just as the branches of a tree strengthen and grow upwards to the sky, we too grow stronger, striving for greater knowledge, wisdom, and new experiences as we move through life. And then the other one is, with its branches reaching for the sky, the tree of life roots into the earth beneath, creating the connection between heaven and earth, a concept often used to explain the concept of the tree of life in many cultures, religions, and ideologies. So that is my earrings and all about them and why I have them. So that is gonna be it for me today. I hope that I answered your questions today accurately as best as I could. I feel like I'm gonna lose my voice, like I've been talking more than I talk normally. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you ever want to see more from me in the future, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below. I'll see you next time. Bye.